Hey folks, Silas here from Trade Trading, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got an absolutely incredible trade idea that we are watching. Let's get right into it. So we're taking a look at the currency market, specifically the Canadian dollar or 6C. Now the chart you're looking at here shows a lot of important data, specifically seasonality or cycle data. We are looking at 10 years here in yellow, we are looking at 20 years here in blue, and we're looking at almost 50 years of data here in red. And what we can see here is that we are approaching a very important seasonal or cycle low. If we look at current year to date, we've been following its seasonal norms or seasonal expectations pretty closely, aside from the large rise there in mid-February. But the most important thing is we're now approaching a cycle low. Now, there's no doubt that the Canadian dollar has been hammered against the U.S. dollar recently. This is largely due to the trade tensions impacted because of the imposition of trade tariffs by the Trump administration. This, of course, leads to trade uncertainties. Therefore, the Canadian dollar has suffered. Now, we think that this news may be short-lived for the time being and could be forging a longer-term weekly or monthly low. Why do we think this? Well, we can clearly see that we're not just looking at 1, 2, or even 5 years of averages. We're looking at 10, 20, and almost 50 years of data here right in front of us, where this market has historically found a seasonal low. If we come down here and look at percent of positive months, we can see all favorable at least 60% of the time. And then the monthly average performance. Here we're coming out of the month of February with positive histograms in March. And in fact, after March, we see the strongest month of the year for this currency. With that being said, and where prices currently are, we think that we are nearing a short-term low and we're getting geared up to trade to the upside, which I'll show you a few different ways and how you can do that. Now, we know where the cycle lows are. We also know where price is through the lens of technical analysis. What else do we see or could we look at behind the scenes? We then turn to the commitment of traders report. This shows us where the funds have been buying, where the funds have been selling, and how the funds are currently positioned. So if we look at the Canadian dollar here, over the last 4 weeks, we see that they have been at or near record shorts here in the Canadian dollar over the last 4 weeks, going from 159,000 contracts net short to 150,000 contracts net short to 144,000 to 137,000. So what we see here is a combination of new longs being added as well as short covering. That equals a bullish stance or bullish conviction. So we know that eventually the selling will dry out, funds have to start covering, and then funds have to re-enter long to follow the newfound trend. That newfound trend should be to the upside based on what we know going back 50 years. So if we pull up the chart here and do some simple technical analysis, let's look at a weekly chart here of the Canadian dollar futures. And one thing that sticks out here is that we are at or near a specific point in the chart where prices have reacted in the past. Notice how we came down to the $69, $70 area back in 2015, had a very sharp move to the upside. We came back down here in 2020, had a sharp move to the upside. Here we are at another 5-year cycle. This was 15, this was 2020. Here we are in 2025, right back to this area that has had a strong reaction to the upside. So the big question is, will we do that again? We think the answer is yes. So how can we do this? We can get long the Canadian dollar futures or buy call options in the Canadian dollar, options on those futures. Forex traders could go into the USD CAD, which is the complete inverse. We'd be looking to sell the USD CAD, which is selling the US dollar, buying the CAD. Notice the same inflection points here, here, and here. Could be a multi-month top in the currency. Lastly, for you equity and equity options traders, you can go into the ETF FXC, which tracks the Canadian dollar. You can see the same key lows here around $68. We would be looking for targets up here at 75 and then 80 to ride this cycle low into the summer months. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next update.